What do you say from Coach and then open up for questions?
Yeah, well, first, thanks to the crowd for coming. There was a couple times, that's as loud as it's been, a few times since I've been here. So I thought we had a great home court advantage tonight on a big night, on Pink Night for us, which is, women's basketball, a fantastic cause that's touched really so many people in some capacity. So to get to honor that, to wear the pink again. A year ago, we played Oklahoma on Pink Night, if you remember that one, in a really, really fun basketball game. I don't know if fun was the right word here, but it was a battle. And I'm as proud, probably, honestly, of this win and this team tonight for different reasons, but kind of gut check, gritty, tough, have to do it defensively when things don't go our way, battled foul trouble with Jordan and JJ the entire night. I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up to see how many minutes they actually played together, but it sure didn't feel like they were out there a whole lot at the same time, and we haven't had to overcome that a whole lot. I thought Woodley stepped up in the absence of whichever one wasn't on the floor and gave us some really good minutes. Sydney Shaw was fantastic through most of the game. Kaya was just Kaya, but I say that with ultimate respect to Kaya to kind of just hold the whole thing together and battle for us. So, that's a really good offensive team. I think that averages about 77 a game that we just held to 37. And, they missed some open shots that I know they would like to have back. But, man, I'm telling you, winning on the road in this league is really, really difficult. And we've been really good in here. Haven't always had to play like we did today to get a win, but I think really good teams have to, win multiple ways, grind it out, score points, somewhere in between if you want to be really, really good. So ranked win, solid win for us. Coming off of a loss, we needed that one. So thought we had a great week of prep. I thought the kids were excited and ready to play and be back at home. And we'll catch our breath tomorrow and then get right back at it.
Coach, you started the game forcing a lot of turnovers, but you guys were also turning it over yourself. How much of that was something that they were doing, or were you guys just, doing it to yourselves?
Probably both. They would probably say the same thing about us. But, we were careless with the ball. I thought too much. Some of it was ball handling. Some of it was passing, maybe a little bit sped up, trying to play too fast at times. But I think both teams, it was either like score or turnover. Like both teams there for a while, we were actually making shots or just giving it to the other team and not even missing shots there for a while, and then settled in. But both teams, that turnovers to assists were not very good. It wasn't one of those games.
JC said she told her group before the game that you almost have to spot your team 10 points playing in this building. What is it about this place that makes you guys play at a higher level?
Yeah, well, just the comfortability. I think our kids are here. We have a great advantage. We have fans. There's people in the stands. You go to some of these places and you don't have that feel. But certainly it can be intimidating. And when it got loud like it does, we feed off of that. I think our defensive intensity picks up considerably at times here. So that's been a challenge for us on the road. But yeah, and you're just comfortable at home, whether it's here or other teams in their place. I just think that there's an advantage with the home court.
JJ now moves into top 10 in Big 12 history and steals, third in program history and steals. Just what makes her different?
Yeah, well, you just have to have some, everybody calls it that dog mentality, but just the mindset. And I thought we were dialed in defensively, obviously JJ too, and I know that's the question, but I just thought we collectively as a group, that was bought in to the defensive game plan. And we changed a few things from when we played them the first time. And so I think as a coach, you're just really proud that they kind of bought into it. But JJ, she's just a tone setter, and I've just tried to put a system around her that allows her to flourish and shine. She has an ability. She's a ball hawk, quick at hands, dynamic feet. So quick and fast in the open floor, reads and anticipates as well or better than anybody. And she was aggressive. She played with a really aggressive mindset tonight, and you can do that on the defensive end. That doesn't have to be on the offensive end. So, I knew she had some steals. I don't know that I really knew she had 8 until I got the box score at the end. But, she's a defensive player of the year last year for a reason.
Coach, it's easy to see that you spend a lot of time talking with your assistant coaches before timeouts. In a defensive game like this, what do they provide to you? What does it mean to have coaches like that you can turn to before timeouts and kind of get a game plan together?
Yeah, well, one, I don't know that I can talk for 2 minutes and 45 seconds every timeout without, so I need a little bit of time to go off. And it's just to organize my thoughts, so I allow them to give me some of their thoughts, and then I kind of just jot down a few of the things that they say that I want to address with my team. And so it just depends. Yeah, maybe we just see something, whether it's offense or defense. It was maybe a little bit more of trying to help them offensively in this game, because a lot of it was, man, I just kept telling them, hey, I love your effort. I love what you're doing on the defensive end. Get on the floor, dive on the floor, rebound, the basic stuff. But offensively, it was, man, how can I help them? What can we run? Can we take advantage of any matchup or mismatch? And that's what's hard about Oklahoma State. You just don't have a ton of those. There's not just one specific kid that you can go pick on, or, oh, we can go throw it in the post, or, oh, this kid's not a very good on-ball defender, so let's go ISO, a certain kid. So you have to do it really more within your structure and try to create space and beat them with spacing. And we didn't do that for a long time. I thought maybe we got a little bit better as the game went, but never really had true flow or rhythm offensively.
You guys were able to hold Oklahoma State scoreless for about an 11-minute stretch in the first half. Can you speak a little bit about that period and kind of what kind of maybe some confidence it gave you going forward in that game?
Yeah, I mean, it was just and we had talked about it before the game, was finding some excitement about getting stops, even if offensively, because this game, we didn't either team score unbelievably well the first time either. So we actually kind of thought it might be a defensive kind of grinded out type game. And so it was just, find a love in getting stops and having intensity. And, I didn't know it was 11 minutes, but I knew we were doing a pretty good job there. We just couldn't score. So it probably didn't feel like it. Normally, if you hold somebody scoreless for 11, you should go on a huge run on the other side. And we just didn't do that to really separate, like, I think we're capable of, but I just don't want to give it back. That's what we kept talking about. Just don't give it back, because we've given up some runs this year, like 11-0 or 12-0 runs at times, which is awful. And so we just wanted to make sure we didn't give it back.
Yeah, how big was it in that fourth quarter? They get it back to 9 points, and you've had some fourth quarters where things haven't gone your way. You've let up those runs to then settle in and kind of end it on a 6-0 run and really put the game away at that point.
Yeah, we needed it. Again, we need these closer games. We need to find ways to run offense, make shots, get the right shots in the fourth quarter in particular. But we had watched this team beat TCU, and I think they were down like 16 in late third quarter and came all the way back. And they cut it to 9 and hit a couple of those mid-range jump shots, which is what they did against TCU. And so, timeout, maybe change some coverages, make sure we're aware of a few things that might be coming. And then I thought we responded. And that's what you want to do in those situations. Just, do we have the answer? And tonight we had the answer every time they kind of punched us.
About the end of the third quarter, they'd got it to 7. You got it back to 12, I think, in the final minute. And if I'm not mistaken, in the loss in Stillwater in the third quarter is kind of where things went south for you guys.
Yeah, well, a little bit earlier. Second quarter, we got up 10. We were up 10 with maybe a minute and a half to go, and going into the half, and they hit a half-court shot to get it to 5. And then they came out. Maybe we got it to 7, but no, they came back pretty quick in the third quarter. But either way, yeah, we've given up a couple leads. Obviously, we've talked about Colorado and Oklahoma State being those on the road, not so much at home. But yeah, we've got to continue to learn and how to close. But that was different because we didn't have Jordan on the floor, and we haven't had to go through that very often, that we needed to close a game offensively or defensively without her. And then we were over there even talking, like, what if JJ gets 5? Now what's our game plan here? What are we going to do? So JJ don't foul. That was the plan. But if it happened, we had to have a plan B.
Ordinarily, you build a big advantage in points off turnovers. Tonight, it wasn't. It was pretty even. What did they do? Their coach mentioned that they got in gaps a little more and were able to interrupt, some of your drives, some of your ball handling. What did you feel like wasn't at peak efficiency for your team?
Yeah, no, that's what they did it to us at their place, and we struggled mightily. Weren't great again here today. We tried to tweak a few things to counteract, I guess, what they do and sitting in those gaps. And, they'll change it a little bit based on opponents too, so they don't always play that way. So kind of depends on which opponent they play. But yeah, they've found that game plan to be fairly effective, I guess, defensively against us. And so if or when we play them again, we'll have to even go back to the drawing board. But we need to make some perimeter shots against them, and that's what we haven't done yet. We haven't been able to consistently make threes, because if you don't, they're just going to stay in every one of those gaps until you prove to them that you can make a perimeter shot. So to me, that's really what it was. But again, you're taking Jordan off the floor, who's a pretty good three-point shooter, and JJ couldn't find a rhythm, so we just never really had rhythm. Shaw was the only one that maybe had a three-point rhythm tonight.
Can you kind of expand on Sydney? Actually, she's very efficient. Only 1 turnover, 18 points. Just really thought she made good decisions. Just talk about how important that was, and really her going forward as well.
Yeah, no, I thought she was on balance. She let the game kind of come to her. We found her at some right times. Honestly, we missed her a couple times, and I wish we could have found her, because I think she could have even maybe stretched it or hit a couple threes to maybe gap it a little bit more. But yeah, I was more proud of her defensive effort, though. If you want the full truth, I thought she was dialed in. She did went to the game plan, was talking, communicating. Yeah, we were at a different level defensively tonight than I had seen us here in a little bit, and I thought Shaw was bought into that.
Going off of that defensive effort that you saw from her, when she came into the program, she said she knew that was something she had to improve upon. Just speak to the growth that you've seen from her at the start of the season to now defensively.
Yeah, we knew she had a chance to be a good offensive player. Now, her numbers have like doubled from what she did at Auburn. You know, she was like 5 or 6 points a game at Auburn, and she's probably around 13, 12 and a half for us. So she's really taken a step offensively too. But the challenge was we're going to play different. We're going to expect you and hold you to a standard on that defensive end. And it's gotten better and better. We challenged her, to be honest, over this week, though, to take it to another step. And so, again, that was part of what we were trying to work on. We didn't think maybe she did as good of a job at Arizona that she's capable of. And so that's why we wanted their response. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for, right? When you don't do something, you go back to the drawing board, try to fix it, and hope they adjust. And to her credit, she made the right adjustment.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.